Okay, next here, guys, I have a glass breaker. This is very quick and easy to get into, being that it's in the front panel and it slips right inside of this little pen pocket right there. I can unzip this and pull this out very quickly. It is a spring-loaded. Press this up against something and it'll center punch steel or wood, and it'll break a pane of glass very easily. I also have a small razor, just kind of a pen razor blade here with breakable segments. You just snap these segments off and you get a fresh blade. It's really handy for small tasks or when I have to cut something out in like a scroll fashion. If I have to cut out a piece of paper, the razor blade seems to be a little bit sharper than your typical small pocket knife because the pocket knife gets used a lot. This doesn't. I've got a few permanent markers in here, different colors. Of course, that would be handy with my post-it notes. Got some standard ballpoint pens here too. And right here I have a telescoping magnet. There's a couple of high-strength neodymium magnets that I've just got attached to here, just to kind of boost it if I need a little bit more magnet. This telescopes out. It's about just under 3 feet long, maybe 32 inches or so. But it's nice for reaching something. You drop your keys, or somebody drops their keys in a strange spot. I was at a place once where a guy dropped his keys down a drain hole in the parking lot, and I had a magnet on me, not this exact one, but I was able to take some paracord, tie it around this. We fished it down there and retrieved his keys. So it's just handy for retrieval work. Another time, getting a piece of steel in the hand, a piece of steel shaving, a good strong magnet like this will actually, if you work it out, will remove the piece of steel. That's happened at work on a couple of occasions now. And not to myself, but somebody else made use of it. It's just really good to have a magnet. It can be handy at times. Alright. Next thing here, I've got the Saber Red Crossfire. This is pepper spray. It's a law enforcement brand. I think this is either 3 or 4 ounces. I'm trying to see. It says net 3 ounces, so maybe that's what it is. Anyhow, it's handy. I've got a Ranger band wrapped around the top here. That way it's not easy to get my finger in here to set it off. So I'd have to take off the Ranger band like that to use it. This isn't like a quick go-to thing, but if I anticipated using it, I could easily take that Ranger band off pretty quickly there. The other thing that I like about the Ranger band being on is that it covers the nozzle. Same thing up here in this small pocket. I've got a couple of Glock 19 magazines, 9mm, all loaded up, and I think that these are Golden Sabers on this one. I'm not that picky about, I've got critical defense in the gun. These are extras. Next thing I have is, people overseas are going to love this one. This is a CS gas canister, very small in size. It fits here in a front pocket. This is a really nice area denial type of thing, along with this. With a quick squirt in the air, you can make a hallway virtually unusable except by a determined person. This is a way to, let's say, slow down a mob in a very dire situation. Next in here, I've got my SOG tool. This has been used in quite a few videos now, but there it is. It's been a good tool. The only thing that I don't like about this tool is the exposed gears. They have since fixed that. This is an older model, but it's doing a great job. Okay, next here are a couple of Midland radios. These are 4 AA powered radios, and I've got these loaded up with Eneloop batteries. Those are the nickel metal hydride formula. There's a 4th battery that goes up into here. This formula stores very well. Unlike old nickel metal hydride that tend to lose their charge very rapidly, these will hold a charge fairly well for a year or more. about every 4 or 5 months I take those out and just give them a top-off charge. But these work pretty well. I took these to Alaska with me, and they were kind of our mainstay communications that would work anywhere on the ship, absolutely anywhere. Line of sight, straight line of sight out in the country, they probably have a realistic range of about 10 miles or so. But when you're up in the forest or something like that, it's going to greatly reduce that range. Although I tested a lot of different radios before I decided on these two, read lots of reviews and so on. These do really well. Probably 1.5 miles up in the forest is not too much of a problem for them. Alright, let's dig into the main compartment. You know, I should have weighed this before I started. You know, I wasn't thinking. I'll annotate it at the end, or I'll just weigh it at the end. I gotta put it all back in there anyhow. I've got a set of sunglasses and a little Maui Jim hard case. Always good to have sunglasses. I've got a set in my vehicle too, but I like to have a set with me in case I leave the vehicle or I forget or something like that. Always have a boonie hat on me. I think it's just a great tool. This time of the year, I'm carrying a little Gore-Tex waterproof 200-gram Thinsulate microfiber lined boonie in, I guess it's an Advantage camo color. Normally I would just go with an all cotton of some type, but this is what I like for the winter time because it can give my head a little bit of thermal protection there. Also, I've got a set of shooting glasses just kind of buried inside of the hat, and that microfiber protects them real well. Real low tech, but they're tough, and I don't have to carry a separate case for them. I think those are revision glasses, if anyone is curious. Yeah, they are. Alright, next in here, it would typically be the video camera that I'm using right now for this video, but I've used this one just to substitute for video purposes. This is my other video camera that you saw take a lot of good pictures up in Alaska. Alright, next thing, I've got my Guyot water bottle with GSI stainless mug. Always good to have a container on you. I think Dave Canterbury would say it's one of the 5 C's, container being critical. Alright, next is going to go with the Glock magazines. Of course, this is the Glock 19. This is a Gen 4. Works beautifully. This particular one has TrueGlow TFOs on it. Previously I was completely underwhelmed with TrueGlow's TFOs, but somehow they changed something and they're much brighter than they were previously. So very impressive sight. I like them. They're a little bit big. Some people don't like that they're bulky, but really love the Glock 19. I've mentioned that in other videos. I think it's one of the most perfect combat or shooting tools that has ever been made. I just really like the size of the 19. Can do everything the 17 can. You only sacrifice 2 rounds. This is a Blade Tech holster. It kind of protects the gun a little bit, but also, since I'm wearing a belt, I can always go to an open carry if I want to. Inside the waistband carries no problem for me at any time. Okay, next I've got just a little driver set. This was a gift. My dad gave this to me, and I use this thing, seems like all the time. Usually, no matter where you go, no one has the right tools, but I've got several Phillips drivers, different Allen or hex bits in here, and a little flexible extension. It's just really handy. Alright, I've got a small emergency stove here. These have been around a long time. It's a classic design. I've actually taken the fuel tabs out of this, the small, heavy, solid fuel that comes with the stove, and I've replaced those with wet fires in there. So I've got something that's super lightweight and very handy. I just keep it in a box because I think it kind of helps to keep the form. This is pretty thin steel, and it can be crushed pretty easily, but when it's in the box, it kind of helps it to keep its form. But it's really handy, and of course that would be used with my container here and my GSI mug. Great for hot chocolate. Alright, next on the list here is the ESC 4. I haven't used this very much. It's a black epoxy blade, 1095 steel. Handy little fixed blade. You know, my daily carry involves big folding knives. As tough as they are, especially that ZT301, it can't match the robustness of a good fixed blade. So when you really have to pry and torque or really have to work at something, sometimes outside of the bounds of normal cutting chores, having a good fixed blade like this with a good 1095 steel is pretty handy. Out here in the Southwest, we don't have a lot of issues with rust. It's pretty easy to manage, and so I really like a 1095 steel knife. Alright, next I have sort of an everything bag. Guys, I'll probably have to change camera angles here and show you what's in this. Okay, here it is. I got room to spread out now. I call this just my basic utility bag. This has stuff in it that I can imagine using fairly regularly, and other things that I don't know what I'd use them for, but I've run into instances before where it's got exactly what I need in it. Got some camp toilet paper, 5-hour energy boost. I've got a stack of earplugs, various earplugs in here, and I think I've got a couple of different sized earpieces for my iPod. Got some Remington oil. I know a lot of people don't like this, but I find that it soaks in quickly and works pretty well for, you know, non-critical things. I've got a couple of super glues in a hard protective case. That's good for taking care of cuts and many other things. I've got some cord stops, some forceps, very handy. I use these a lot, great for getting into small places. I can't even think of all the times those have come in handy. Excellent tool, one of the best in the bag. Small set of scissors. Again, sometimes you just need to cut out something with a little bit more precision. That's where a scissor helps out. I've got a small Adventure Medical Kits bivvy. Kind of goes a step beyond the little space blanket. Gives you a little bit more durability, a little bit more protection. I've got a credit card here wrapped with, or an old plastic card wrapped with duct tape. And I've got a good layer of thick tin foil in there, and this is completely wrapped with lots of Ranger bands. Ranger bands always come in handy. Okay, I've got some heavy-duty wire leaders here. These are 18-inch wire leaders, fishing leaders, Eagle brand. Really good for a very quick, easy snare. A lot of strength. Some waterproof matches here. That's the REI Storm matches that burn really well. Nail clippers. Fork and a spoon. I've already got knives. I don't really like sporks. I like to have separates. I don't know why. I just, a spork to me doesn't cut it. When I need a fork, I need a real fork. Or I want one, I should say. Extra set of shoelaces. I think these are 54, 72, whatever you need that's going to work for what you're wearing. Generic space blanket. Emergency rain poncho. A couple of chem lights that are in date. You want to make sure that these are in date and that you keep them in the foil wrapper. They tend to go bad if they're not in the foil wrapper. I don't really like chem lights. I think that flashlights serve, especially these days with LED efficiency, they work much better. To me, this is a throw and go type of light. Let's say you need to get in or out of a building or something like that, and you need to drop one of these to light a stairway or to light a path. This in conjunction with other forms of popcorn trail, so to speak, whether that's sticky notes or marking with my permanent markers, or this, always good to be able to find your way in or out of a complex structure. Okay, I've got a whistle, thermometer. This has got a little magnifying glass on it that you can pull out. That's that real generic Ozark trail, but they work good, and it has a loud whistle on it. That's mainly why I have it, although the thermometer comes in handy too. Got a little DMT diamond knife sharpener here, foldable style. Kind of like the versatility of a flat setup like this versus a rod. I think that it gives me a little bit more surface area to work with. What do I got here? Just some paper clips, some wire, and a little binder of some type. This is extra fuel, just small pressurized fuel canister for my windmill lighter. And I've got some Coleman Max 100% DEET insect repellent. That's it, guys. Okay, back to the main compartment here of the backpack. I've got a small area in here, a zippered area with mesh, and in there I carry a couple of latex gloves, 2 sets of latex gloves, and here's my mechanic gloves that I wear quite frequently. In this type of a backpack, I don't need a heavy-duty leather work glove. This is more of a utility set. I can easily carry a set of leathers inside my vehicle. I'll never use them if I have them in my EDC bag. These I use quite often. Okay, this is a little Ryobi rechargeable power cell that I can hook into, and this will actually charge my cell phone and it will charge my iPod. The reason that I like this a little bit better than a dedicated extra battery for my cell phone is because this individually here I can recharge from a cigarette lighter, and it does multiple, or an AC, a wall AC socket, and it does multiple things. I can charge various devices. This also comes with little adapters, and I can stick any adapter on here. So if somebody else has a cell phone that needs charging, I can charge their cell phone as well. So a little bit more versatility with this. And as long as we're touching on electronics again, this is a small electronics bag that I have. I've got a AC cord in here for my cell phone, an AC cord for my iPod. I have a pair of nano chargers in here which recharge my lithium-ion 10440 batteries that I use in all my small flashlights. That looks like that. I've got 2 of those. They're very small. You can flip this down, plug it into any outlet. Works really well. Also in here I have a set of L91 lithium primary AA batteries. I've got some L92 lithium primary AAA batteries. And I like going with lithium primaries because they're ultra light as compared to alkaline or nickel metal hydride. And I've always got a good supply of CR123 batteries. Might be a good time to stop and discuss some quick philosophy on flashlights and batteries. So I know that there's going to be a few out there that would find fault with my battery system, that I don't build a system off of one type of cell and use that only. And there is a certain amount of legitimacy to that. For me, it comes down to more using the exact right tool for the right job, and sometimes that means batteries of different sizes. So whether you're talking about handgun calibers where one handgun caliber isn't going to cover the full spectrum, you use different calibers for different jobs. The same thing that goes for a battery. Although my Glock 19 is real handy for a self-defense application, it's not going to be the ideal for defense in Alaska for Kodiak bear. Obviously, I say that jokingly, but same thing with flashlights. You use different flashlights for different jobs. And while some of these do have some crossover, there's nothing like the versatility of a small AAA light that can be clipped to your hat brim, held in the corner of your mouth, stuck over your ear if you have to. Just super, super handy. And so that's why I have that system. The CR123 system, It's proven. It's, you know, lithium primary batteries. They're always going to work. The Surefire is one of the best stock or factory EDC lights that I've ever come across, and that's why I have, you know, a good reload for my LX2, which is the only light that I carry so far that you've seen that works on CR123s. You'll see a headlamp here shortly that also uses these.